We believe everyone can learn to operate handguns safely. However, we think it is unsafe to learn to shoot on your own. Please work with an experienced firearms instructor to put these skills into practice. This video includes both semi-auto pistols and double-action revolvers. As we begin this video, all guns are unloaded and made safe to handle. The only ammunition present will be dummy training rounds. The target there shows the safe direction for us to point our guns.
In this video, Wu and I are going to help you learn to load a handgun and make it ready to shoot. But before we begin, let's talk about the safety precautions.
When you see a gun, always assume it's loaded and will fire when you pull the trigger. If it has a safety, assume the safety is off and in the firing position. Do not touch the trigger until you have unloaded the gun. For semi-auto pistols, assume there are rounds in the magazine. Also, assume there is one in the chamber. For revolvers, assume there are rounds in the cylinder. Always follow these assumptions regardless of what anyone else tells you, until you have personally unloaded the gun and make it safe to handle.
We'll start by loading the semi-auto pistol with dummy training rounds. Hold the magazine upright in your left hand. Press the rounds down into the magazine with your right hand. Be sure the bullet end of the round is facing forward the magazine. Pick up the gun with your shooting hand. Keep your finger off the trigger and index. Insert the magazine into the gun. Strike it with the heel of your hand to be sure it's seated properly. You have to do this every time, otherwise the gun may not fire correctly. If your gun has a safety, move it into the firing position.
Next, operate the slide to load the round into the chamber. Hold the gun firmly with your shooting hand. Keep your finger off the trigger and indexed. Grip the top of the slide firmly with your other hand. Now you're going to do two things at the same time. Push forward with your shooting hand and pull back with your other hand as far as the slide will go. Release your slide hand quickly by straightening out your fingers. If your gun has live rounds in it, it'll be ready to fire. When you baby the slide, the gun will not fire correctly. Think about how fast the slide is moving when you're actually firing the gun. There's nothing you can do to damage it. The key to operating the slide correctly is to hear two distinct sounds. First, the sound of the slide moving all the way back. Then, the sound of the slide snapping forward. The louder these sounds are, the more reliable the gun will load.
After you get tired of having sore thumbs, you may want to invest in a speed loader. Once you get the hang of it, it makes loading magazines much easier. You can also get speed loaders for your revolvers. This lets you load the cylinder in one movement.
Now, let's load a double-action revolver. Hold the gun firmly with your shooting hand. Keep your finger off the trigger and indexed. Swing out the cylinder and use your other hand to hold it open. Load the rounds into the cylinder. Close the cylinder. Now, if your gun had live rounds in it, it'll be ready to fire. Get yourself some dummy training rounds and get good at loading your handgun. This will be the first step toward looking good at the range.